How many people listen to your podcast?
It's one of those things like the following is growing. I mean, I just started launching these things in January. Mm-hmm. So they go out like once a week.
Okay.
And so when you're growing it organically like that versus, having some big time production company do the publicity for you, it takes a little bit longer.
Sure.
So, I got like 6 followers.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 of them are pending, but I got 6 followers. Nah, man, I mean, it's each one is gaining more and more traction.
Cool.
So that's the cool part.
Cool, man. Well, hopefully I can help you bring some people on board.
Well, dude, hopefully we can draw some more light to the good things you guys are doing.
Cool.
Man. Yeah, dude. So how you been?
Same old, man. Work.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Oh, it looks like
Are you one of those, I'm up at 4:30 in the morning?
No, not 4:30. Usually out of the house by 6:30.
Yeah.
After getting my 14 miles in.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. No miles, just up early.
Yeah.
I don't know, 6:30. 6:30, yeah.
So, but like, are you like that 5:30 a.m. get up and try to collect yourself? Not try to collect yourself, but kind of find that zen for the day?
Yeah, usually I got to be up pretty early. I got to be pretty early to catch that worm.
Exactly, especially in this industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Big B Mortgage Podcast. Today, sitting in the chair, I've got a new friend of mine, but one that I'm glad I was able to make, Mr. Robert Cordova.
Yes, Bobby, thank you so much for having me on. It's a real pleasure to be on your podcast, and I'm excited.
Yeah, man. So tell the people what you do, who you're with, and all that.
I represent WillowBend Mortgage. I'm the regional manager, but I like to say I'm more than that. I'm a loan officer, and so we're out there helping 600 families a year,
right?
Get into their house, live the American dream, and that's the important part. Yeah. It's not about the money. It's not about the process and the appraisal. It's about living the American dream.
Oh, dude, you're already touching on something I want to talk about as we get into this, and that's the why, right? Because I mean, for many people, you've got to have a bigger why than just the commission check. If it's just about the money, it's not going to be a good day. Like, yeah, you'll make money, but dude, like, let's just be real. It's not going to be. It's not going to be fulfilling.
Yeah. My dad used to always say, money's not everything.
Right.
But it helps.
And dude, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, in my career, it was never about the money. The money came with it, and that was great. And I'm not giving it back, but I mean, it's about.
You sure? Because I mean, I got some causes you could donate to, like the Put My Daughter Through College
Fund. Yeah. No, I mean, listen. I mean, it's about the smile, and it's about that. Believe it or not, the tear when you're signing on the dotted line and moving into your first house, whether it's 4,500 square foot or it's 1,400 square foot.
Yeah.
I've literally had clients in my office, giving me the sign of the cross, que Dios te bendiga, and crying as they're, as they're signing. And so that's what's important. And we never try to lose sight of that. It's about the client. It's about getting the client into the house. And that's why we fight so hard for every deal.
Yeah. Well, and in this day and age, I mean, obviously you get the ones that are, I'm not going to call them easy because, again, I don't think any file is easy. Every file has a story and a uniqueness to it. But when you get those ones that maybe they've talked to 3 other people who couldn't see what you see in their situation, you know what I mean? As far as being their advocate to get that approval and to get into that house, it makes all the difference in the world, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no perfect mortgage company. There's no, as my old boss used to say, there's no mortgage utopia. But there's some really good mortgage companies down here. The WillowBends, the Movement Mortgage, the Goal Financial. There's some really, really strong, good mortgage companies that are out there doing a great service for people.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you put the people first, the money just shows up, in my opinion, when you really drive in on that. So, all right, so you're regional manager for WillowBend. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
No, not Movement.
Yes, WillowBend Mortgage,
yes.
Number one mortgage. I got to give this drop. The number one mortgage company in Hidalgo County. This will be the 3rd year in a row. So hopefully trying to swing it in trying to hit that home run in 2018. And for all you folks that are out there, it's WBM.com, Robert Cordova.
There you go. So regional. What is your region? How big is your region?
We're Hidalgo County.
Okay.
We're in Hidalgo County. We'd really like to be in Cameron County. Just unfortunately, those doors haven't opened up for us just yet. We're always looking, but yeah, we're Hidalgo County. We're actually located in Plano, Texas. That's our corporate headquarters. But the regional manager here of Hidalgo
Okay.
County.
Awesome, man. So let's go back. Take me back. I want to hear your story. How did you one, the first thing I always ask is, was mortgage the first sales job for you?
No, it wasn't. And actually, you want to go back. When I was in college, I worked for my brother-in-law, and he owns a lawn mowing / snow removal company in Omaha, Nebraska.
I thought you were going to say here in McAllen.
No.
Man, business must be tough.
Yeah, business is tough. No snow here. But yeah, so I worked for him over the summers, earning cash, and so I did a little bit of sales for him, the sprinkler systems and stuff like that, and that's where I kind of cut my teeth. And then from there, I was doing AC sales. So I'd call you. It was a place called Cogburn's. I'd call you. I'd get you to allow us to go out and check on your AC, make sure it's working before those hot summer months. So those were my first 2 sales jobs. I actually ended up at Sears in the Dallas area selling lawnmowers, the big riding lawnmowers, and the barbecue pits. And so back then it was a commission job. So I was number 5 in the state of Texas.
For real?
Yeah, and I was part-time. I was in college. I was making $26 an hour. So with the commission. So it was pretty cool. So the story is that I graduated from college, moved back in with the folks, and was very unhappy. Couldn't find a job in my field, which was biology, that paid very well. And I was kicking rocks. I talked to a buddy of mine. He said, "Hey, why don't you try to get a job with his girlfriend?" Her name was Marcy. "Why don't you get a job with Marcy? She's there at Centex Home Equity." Okay. So I started there at Centex Home Equity. It was off of a highway in the Louisville area called 121.
Okay.
And so that's how I started selling subprime refinances, mostly cash out. My specialty was the Hispanic market, since I speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And I was there 8 months. I was one of their top guys at the campus. That's what they called it, over 2,000 employees. And they didn't give me a raise. So I left, and I went to a company by the name of Novastar. And
I heard of Novastar.
Yeah. They used to be around before the recession. And that was a lot of fun, man. I was there for, 4 or 5 years. We switched company names quite a few times. The last of it was Merchants Home Mortgage. And then luckily I ended up at WillowBend Mortgage, and I've been there ever since. We started off with myself and with Lily Carrillo, one of my loan officers. Mm-hmm. And now we've got 14 loan officers with a support staff of, 7 or 8.
Right.
And we've now kind of melded into the number 1 mortgage company here locally. And
did you recruit Susan?
Susan was recruited by an old loan officer of mine by the name of Julio Carranza, who's now with Landmark Mortgage.
Okay.
And she loves it. She loves it. She's been with us for a long time.
I've known Susan since I was in wholesale, man.
She's a rock star. She's going to hate that I tell this story, but it's the truth. I only speak the truth.
Give me the dirt, baby.
So she came to WillowBend Mortgage. She traded in the midsize SUV for the large, and she bought a beach house. So that's what WillowBend Mortgage does for their employees. I like to say this, and I think it's pretty much across the board, other than 1 or 2 employees. Everybody that works for me makes more money than they've ever made in their life.
Right.
And so we're keeping our employees happy. We're giving these people, these clients, these home buyers, the lowest rates, lowest closing costs.
Sure.
And having success doing it, and having fun for the most part. So
right on. So when you came into Willow, you came in as the regional, or did you just come in as like a branch manager and you graduated up?
Man, I came in, I was very young, and I don't think that they really took me serious. And so I don't think that they really clipped my wings until I was a few years into it. I was really just a loan officer. I think I had the title, but didn't have much of a branch, with it just being me and one other loan officer. And then just over the years, we got more and more loan officers. We got more and more busier, I should say. And then eventually we brought Susan on board, and that's where the regional came from, and been rocking and rolling ever since.
That's awesome, man. So tell me about your why. Like you mentioned, you started to talk about it early on, like what a lot of people seem to get into this business either by accident or by referral, right? I don't know that many people who woke up one day and said, dude, I really want to do mortgage loans.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the drive for everybody is different, and sometimes it's money, and sometimes it's, hey, I just want to be generally good at this. For me, I think it stems from wanting to be the best and wanting to be very good at something.
Right.
Going through high school and junior high and going into college, I wasn't in NCAA or anything like that, and I was always in sports but never the best, and so
Right.
I always wanted to be the best at something, and I may not be the best, but I'm one of the best, and
Right.
so it's a small circle of us. Bobby, Will, myself, and a few others. We're very, very good at what we do.
Right.
And that's what drives me. That's what drives me, is waking up every day saying, I want to be better than I was the day before. And of course, knowing your products and knowing your clientele and knowing what you do, and that's what's important. And it all came with it.
Nice, dude. So tell me about your family.
So I'm happily married. I've got two.
I would hope you would say that.
Yes, happily married. Lisa, if you're out there, super happy.
Super happy, man.
And I've got two kids. I've got a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, and so that can be,
Dude.
yeah, it can be challenging. Sometimes when I get home, my wife will have the garage open, and so I'll pull up the car,
Yeah.
and I'll just put my ear to the door, and usually I hear like one kid screaming,
Yeah.
and then the other one whining, and my wife saying, "Don't kick your brother."
Right.
And then I go check the mail, and it's a long walk to the mailbox. So yeah, but 2 kids, married, happy, and hopefully we'll be growing soon.
Dude, I feel you, man. I got 3.
Yep.
One's about to kind of leave the nest, for lack of a better term, going off to college. So it's one of those bittersweet moments. Like, I was looking at a picture the other day of like when we had first gotten married, and we had just had our daughter, and she was maybe like 2. And I'm looking at that picture, and I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, dude, I barely remember what that was like, right? Even though I've got, she's 17, the other one's 12, the other one is like 10, right? So the last 2 are 2 years apart, and they're brothers, and same as you, dude. It's like constant fighting. Right? But it's weird because I look back, and I'm like, holy cow, man, where's this time going, dude? Like, are you finding that? Are you finding that these days just get shorter and shorter?
It really does. I mean, this is going to sound weird, and this is probably a testament to my hard work and dedication, but I always judge my calendar by when the client makes their first payment. So we use Encompass, and when we're in Encompass, I have to manually input your first payment.
Right.
Which is usually 2 months later, right?
Right.
And so I always think to myself, I'm like, good God, are we already like first payments in July? Well, Christmas is just around the corner. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Time is flying by. Having kids is great, and I guess it's the old adage, time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly. Well, and then for me also, I find out the busier that I stay, the happier that I am.
Absolutely.
I heard a saying, I think it was Grant Cardone. He said this. I was listening to one of his audios a while back, and it was, if you ever want to meet the devil, have free space on your calendar. If you're in sales, if you ever want to meet the devil, have free space on your calendar. And I remember, man, it's just like, I was like, ooh, like, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense, because think about it. Like, if you're just sitting there and you don't have your calendar booked up, the heck are you doing?
Yeah, getting into trouble.
Exactly. Or your mind starts wandering, or next thing you know, you're on your 5th YouTube video and you're not getting anything done.
That's
So
right.
I just kind of try to keep my head down, keep it pumping. But so, how old are the kids again? Tell me again.
2 and 6.
2 and 6. So you're not doing any of the flag football stuff yet, right?
No, my little girl is in soccer, and she.
Oh, dude, I remember that soccer, man.
Yeah. She, and I tell you what, we've had her in soccer since she was 3.
Right.
And you can see a major progression over the years, and we're blessed to have a really good soccer player with her in our family, and so it's a lot of fun getting out there. They could still use some work, but you can actually start to see a semblance of a soccer team as opposed to chase the ball.
Yeah, dude, but see, for me, when we had our daughter in it, and we did it 1 year because she just kind of like, whatever. But she did it for a season when we lived in Brownsville, and I remember it was so hilarious, dude, because they're just randomly running around. Like, they're kicking it into the wrong goal, like whatever. You know, but like if yours has been doing it for that period of time, yeah, it's got to be cool to see the progression. So tell me, like, you've been number one in Hidalgo for 3 years.
This will be the third year, and hopefully we'll make it, but we'll see.
So 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row.
Officially.
Working on the third.
Dude.
Yeah.
How much hate mail are you getting?
Man, not much. But I tell you what, we should get more. We're just out there. We're out there in the local in the local community. I mean, to see some of the loan officers hitting open houses every weekend, and they're at the local functions. I mean, it's really. I mean, it's hard work. It's not fun to be in an open house on a Saturday for 5 hours. You know, so it's hard work, and our hard work is paying off.
Yeah, well, and I mean, but that's the thing though. Like, ours is not a job. The job of the loan officer, you're not taking loan apps all day long. Yeah, sure, in a perfect world you are, or if you work in a call center for Citi. But the reality of it is that it's not 9 to 5, right?
Right, absolutely.
It's just not. Like, and there is that certain degree of you can make your own schedule, which can be great, or if you don't do it right, it can get you into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I think being a loan officer is like running your own business. I mean, you're gonna get out of it what you put in.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is the hours. You got to put in the hours. It's like I tell my guys, they complain. Well, I talked to somebody who didn't qualify, and I'm like, but did you make it a badass call? Can I say that? I just said that. Yeah, I just did. Did you make it a badass call? And they're like, well, they didn't qualify. They told me they had bad credit, so I tried to get off as soon as I could. I'm like, brother, that's practice. You got to get in there and practice. Everybody you talk to makes you better. Learning what to say and what not to say, and when to say it and when not to say it. So yeah, I mean, our guys are, they're beating the phones, and they're trying to find business where they can. I think some of the old school stuff, the Ziggy Ziglar, it still works to a degree,
Well, the philosophies are true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The practices have evolved, right? I think, personally. Like, I think the practices have evolved because of so much integration of technology into our industry. But the principles in themselves, I think, have remained the same.
Yeah, I mean, and when you look at some of the local numbers, I mean, you talk about technology, you look at Quicken, and I mean, you look at some of their local numbers here in Hidalgo County. They do not have a local branch. They don't have a local person. You cannot shake their hand. You can't look them in the eyeball. And, and they do very well in our market, and so it's amazing. And so I think you're right. The apps and the filling out an application online is a huge part of our business.
Well, now we got Keller Mortgage too.
No, I've heard the name. I don't know much about them. As I say that, I think they've got 14 loan officers, but who's counting?
Right.
And I think that's nationwide. So I've heard about the Keller Williams Mortgage, and
it's in Ohio.
Well, the funny thing to me is
or Iowa.
And some of these Keller Williams guys, and we love Keller Williams to death, but they are, they're pulling hard for Keller Williams Mortgage, and more power to them. And it's like I told them. I said, wait till they drop their first one. Wait till they can't close that first one because they didn't know you had to have 2 years for a commission job. Yeah. And, and that's when you're going to start to see some of the pullback. Look, this job ain't easy.
Right.
And it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, we come in here every day, and we're pushing to get these loans closed, and we're pushing to get new business in the door, and it's not easy. It's walking a fine line. You go too much left, you fall. You go too much right, you fall. It's not easy just to walk that straight and narrow.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and then the other part of it too is, because I get hit a lot, especially living in Austin now, super high tech, people, the question is becoming like, oh, is the LO going to be obsolete? Because now there's rumblings that Amazon's going to jump in, right? And I'm looking at this thing and I'm saying, okay, you know what? I think there could be space for that type of model, but at the end of the day, this is still a people business.
Absolutely. I mean, it's people oriented. It's the largest purchase of your life, Exactly. And I mean, this is what we preach every day to our clients. Like, hey, you want to go to Quicken? Go for it.
Now, being said, do I want my grandkids to necessarily start thinking about mortgage? No. Right?
Well, but look, it's hit or miss. You either hate them or you love them. I talked to guys, hey, I did a loan with Quicken and they were great. They closed, 28 days later and it wasn't much paperwork. And I got guys that say they drag it on for 3 months. I was sending them everything other than my DNA, and we never closed. You look
at their national average; it ain't that great.
Yeah,
they're good on the refi stuff, but they have not really captured what they need to on the purchase side. I mean, the concept of the well, I'm sorry, I was about to say Easy App. That's ours, but the Rocket Loan. The concept's great, right? But there's still a lot more to it. There's way more to it.
Yeah, and I think just like anything else, it's marketing. You get them calling, get them in the door. Somebody's gonna reach out to you eventually over the phone. It's just a way to get you in the door, and that's what it is.
If we advertise during the Super Bowl, I think our stuff would.
There you go. There you go.
Maybe we should just like go in halvesies.
Yeah, I think
you got
so.
12 million laying around.
Yeah, I've got 11.9 million. I'm putting it all on the Cowboys.
Nice, dude. So, what did number one look like? In other words, how many units did you fund? How many families did you help last year?
Oh, off the top of my head, it was just north of 600, and we loaned just under $93 million.
Damn,
Most of that,
$93 million in Hidalgo County.
Well, $93 million total. We do a little bit of lending in Cameron, Star, and then every once in a while, something in San Antonio or Houston, some family member, friend, or whatever.
Probably less than 1%.
But yeah, so it was just shy of $79 million locally in Hidalgo County. Everything else was Star and Cameron and these surrounding areas.
Yeah, but Star kind of rolls in, doesn't it? I mean, realistically.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't count for our Hidalgo numbers. No, absolutely. I mean, trust me, it counts. I mean, you still get paid on your paycheck.
So what's holding you back on the Cameron?
Man, I must have met with at least, and when I say meet, I don't mean just like, hey, at a party and we shake hands. I mean, we've done lunch, we sit down with at least a half dozen people, and just really never been able to make it work, never been able to make it stick. And it's close enough, but it's not as close as you think.
Right.
But I'll tell you that I do feel it's an untapped market. I think that there's some mortgage companies out there that haven't realized the full volume of Cameron County. I don't think it's Hidalgo County by any means, but I mean, I think they've got a lot to offer, and I think there's a lot of people out there, and a lot of people working the same type of jobs as the people here in Hidalgo County. Your boilermakers, your roustabouts, your police officer, your border patrol, all of that. And so I think that it's a strong market, and I think it's in a way it's an untapped market.
I agree. I mean, we just opened up Brownsville a couple of months ago. So, and it's an army of one for right now, right? But I mean, the thing of it is I cut my teeth in mortgage in Brownsville. So even though I lived in McAllen for a while and all that, I always kind of had that special affinity, even though Brownsville got hit really hard when the collapse happened. But it's rebounding, dude. I mean, it's just like you said, it's a great untapped market. Now, that being said, all you mortgage lenders out there, it's a horrible market. Don't recruit there. Don't go there. Nah, but I mean, it is. It's a good untapped resource. You're right. It is not Hidalgo. The numbers in Hidalgo blow my mind and continue to do so. And then I see some of the projects that are coming up, right? Like, you guys are sitting on a freaking gold mine here. I mean, you guys are getting your own version of the Domain, that outside shopping center thing that they're putting up in Edinburgh. And
it was canceled.
Was it canceled?
I think it was canceled, yeah.
Dude, I heard they already laid the foundations and stuff.
Well, that concrete guy ain't going to get paid.
Ouch, dude.
I think it's canceled. From what I heard last, it was canceled. But look, I mean, the Hidalgo market is strong. I mean, it definitely strong. I mean, I think, Bobby, sometimes it's a little scary. It seems like everybody's a mortgage, everybody's a real estate agent.
They're
and
really
so,
not.
well, we'll see. I mean, it reminds me a lot of 06, 07. Just everybody was
Really?
busy. Man, everybody seems to be busy.
But I don't see everybody jumping in like we had it.
Man, I see there's a lot of new mortgage companies. There's a lot of, the Paramount Residential Mortgage, the Landmark, the Movement. I mean, there's a lot
Axia.
there's a lot of, I think people are starting to see, a lot of these banks up north are starting to see, hey, Hidalgo's booming. Let's get down there. Who do we know?
Yeah, man. But at the end of the day, dude, you still only have so many chefs in the kitchen as far as producers.
That's right.
Now, don't get me wrong, man. I mean, I've passed on my fair share of LOs here, but there's still only so many people, right? There's still only so many producers.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. And we'll see. I mean, I think it's yet to be seen. Sometimes I wonder, are there that many people that are moving to Hidalgo County? Are there that many people who can afford the $350,000 house? It seems like it so far. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see if this bubble bursts.
I mean, dude, you guys got a sexy restaurant scene going now. You guys got an art scene going now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot more of this luxury item. Like before, like when I lived here, If you wanted luxury, you had to go to Joe Brand in the mall or Deutsch and Deutsch, right, to buy your Rolex. Now it's like you guys have this restaurant scene, the cigar scene, the wine scene. Like, you guys are like competing to be like the biggest little city in South Texas, you know, and you're doing a great job, dude. The only other city that I've been to in all my travels along this border corridor that somewhat mimics what McAllen is doing, and maybe they're a little bit ahead, was El Paso, believe it or not. But they butt up to New Mexico and all
right, and they're right, yeah.
Here we're isolated, right?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that you guys are doing, and I'm sad to hear that outdoor thing got canceled, because I was talking to one of the builders that was going to be building around it. Dude, it sounded like, I saw the drawings. It looked amazing.
Yeah.
But that being said, you're still getting the amphitheater, right, or whatever it is.
Man, I'm not sure on that.
Should get canceled too.
I don't know. I thought the whole thing was put on hiatus for now, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, but look, I mean, the economy
busted my bubble, Robert.
Well,
this
I
podcast
apologize.
is over, baby. Come on.
Look, I mean, it's a booming market. There's a lot of federal jobs. There's a lot of state jobs coming to the area.
You're gonna have some military moving.
We're gonna have some military. You got UTRGV. It's turning into it's a medical school now. You've got DHR. You know, doing some big time growth. So
Right.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, there's some there's a real market behind this. And you talk about projects. I mean, some of these developments that are going up. I mean, there's on North 29th. There's 100 some acres. There's I think a 40 acre tract on Old 83 and Sherry. I mean, so there's some big developments coming.
Right.
In on top of what's already been developed. So we'll see. But it's
but that's what. Well, I shouldn't say pisses me off, but that's like, for me, that's the hard part when I come down here and I visit. Is I'll be down here and I'll go visit like one of our home builders, right? That's doing semi-custom. And I'll look at this beautiful house with smart technology in it or whatever is going on. And it's like, dude, how much is this house? $400,000 or $500,000? Oh no, man, we just sold this one for $271,000. Like, what? Same house, Austin, Texas, $500,000. $500,000, man. Like, it's a gold mine down here, dude. Like, that's the beautiful part.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely, it's very affordable. I mean, you can definitely get a really nice house for, I don't want to say half, but for a much less than you can in Austin. But this isn't the Austin market either. No. I mean, I've got some family lives in Austin. I mean, they're selling the house. I don't even think they're putting it in MLS. I mean, they have a list of buyers, and they want to be between this range and this range, and who wants to buy it fast enough. And I'm assuming it turns into somewhat of a bidding war, and then it goes under contract, and you move forward.
So I live in a neighborhood that's arguably about 30 years old, so very mature, beautiful trees, huge streets, blah, blah, blah. You'll see the coming soon sign, and that's as far as it goes. From there, it's like straight to offer pending or, contract pending. Like, it doesn't make it to for sale. I haven't seen a house in my neighborhood make it to for sale in about a year.
And that's a hot market.
Yeah, it's a hot market. It's an expensive market.
Yeah, expensive, hot. Yeah, you got all those guys from California and everybody else moving to
Scotts,
Austin.
California, my Texas, dude. It's you're baby. Yeah, plenty of avocado.
There you go.
Up there.
There you go.
So what's going on? So what is the goal this year, man? So you did over $90 million last year, right?
That's right.
I'm sure you're not looking to just match that this year.
The market is improved. I mean, the market is the houses
for
today
$10
are selling for more than they were yesterday. So I think that's a big part of the increase. But yeah, I mean, we want to maintain our market share. We'd like to grow our market share. We'd like to bring on a few good loan officers. We'd like to help those loan officers develop and continue to do what we've done over the last few years, which is help people. I mean, and that's what it's about. And the more people we can help, the better. We have our W-2 only product, which is working amazingly well for us. And so we found that we can qualify people for what they deserve and at a low rate and low cost.
Yeah. So as we wrap up, what's the one thing you want anybody thinking of jumping into the loan game in Hidalgo County? What's the one piece of advice you would give them to get in, get started, and do it right? And for the love of God, don't say come to work for WillowBend.
Just don't say that.
Don't say that part.
You know, and I think it's that's a good question, and I think that there's a difference between the loan officer and a bank. I mean, any bank that wants to come down here, I have a lot of banks that reach out to me. Hey, you know, we're doing this. What do you think? You know, and the one thing I would say is the market down here is totally different from your market in Austin and your market in Dallas.
Yeah.
You know, the 770 credit score with, you know, 300,000 in their 401k and 50,000 in their checking account. That's not Hidalgo County. That's not the Rio Grande Valley. So just understand the market that you're coming into as a bank that comes here. You know, we've
or just don't come.
Yeah, or just don't come. Just leave it all to WillowBend Mortgage and the Movement Mortgage. To Robert and Bobby, we'll take care of it.
We'll get it done.
But look, I mean, for any loan officer looking to come in, I mean, it's hard work, is dedication, and you're going to reap what you sow. I mean, you know, the more hours you put in, the better you are. And like we talked about, I mean, the more people you talk to, the better you get at selling, understanding your product, and knowing what you can do and what you can't. And that's what's important, is being able to hit a home run on every deal.
Nice, dude. That's awesome. Well, I'm going to wrap it with that. What about anybody who wants to reach out to you? Don't give out your cell phone number. Just what's the best way to get a hold of you, bro?
Yeah, the best way, and thank you, Bobby, the best way is my cell phone. It's 956-827-4533. Again, that's 956-827-4533. I can also be reached by email, rcordova@wbm.com.
You're the only guy I'm allowing to give out his cell phone number. Because I don't want you coming back to me in a few months and being like, dude, I get all these people calling me, man. Said they heard it on the podcast.
I'm waiting for President Trump to call me.
There you go.
Donald Trump, if you're listening, if you can give me that shout out, it's 956-827-4533, and I'm here for any of your financing needs, President Trump.
Go. Look at that, dude. Working that angle already, bro. I know Rick's going to be all over that military presence.
There you go. There you go.
Captain VA over there, man. All right. Well, dude, I want to thank you for taking time to, you know, I know you're probably one of the busiest people I've had the pleasure of meeting recently. And so thank you for taking time to sit in the chair, man.
Hey, Bobby, thanks for your kind words. And hopefully I'll be back to you guys out there in the internet world. Keep rocking and keep buying those houses.
That's right. Hey, if you like this episode, give us a like, give us a share. But for the love of God, whatever you do, stay social, everybody.